Hi everyone, this is Aaron for Zollotech. We're going to take a look at the Lifeproof nude case for the iPhone 5S. A lot of you have asked me to review this. I was able to get my hands on one thanks to Lifeproof, and let's take a look at it. So it's a waterproof case for your iPhone, but the difference between this and their other case called the free case is the front is actually cut out so that the actual touchscreen is still exposed instead of being under a cover. So it's the glass touchscreen that it seals against. Let's open this up. Now it comes in at a little bit of a high price, around $90 or so. And what you get for that is the case. This is the case back. You also have an optional screen protector that goes on if you want to use that. A microfiber cloth, a little instruction book, and we have, this is a headphone adapter that they include with all of their cases. And what that does is allows you to screw it into the bottom and use your headphones because it's a little bit recessed compared to the original iPhone. So we'll take a look at that in a moment too. So normally you have to test these underwater, and they include this blue plastic piece, and what it does is allows you to test this underwater before you put it on your phone. So we'll do that in just a second, but what these instructions tell you to do is normally put it underwater for about an hour or so. And you can see it shows a coffee cup. You seal everything, and the water test after you've done that, or 30 minutes they're saying, you close everything and then you pull this out of the water and check for different leaks. And if you don't have any leaks, then it's safe to test with your phone itself. So let's take a look at the water test now. Now that we have the sink filled, we'll test the case underwater. Now this version of the case works with Touch ID, so it has a little film that goes over the home button, and then this is your little tester. So we'll set this in the water, place a coffee cup on it, and then come back in a half hour and see if it leaked. It's been 30 minutes, so let's take this off. We'll bring this out, and let's take a look if it leaked at all. Now I have the case out of the water. You can see it's still a little bit wet. So I'll just dry it off, and we'll see if there's anything inside of it as far as water goes. You can see in the back here it's transparent, and it's got a little blue hue to it because of this little blue piece. But let's open this up and take a closer look at the case itself. So you can see here we have a little port. It's got this little rubber gasket that goes over the bottom for the lightning adapter. We have this for the headphone jack. And we'll undo these just to take it apart. And these go together really tightly, so you might want to use a coin here. Sometimes you can just pop it apart here. It's really difficult, but I've gotten it apart. And this comes apart much harder than the free case. You can see here's the little insert, and I don't see any water down here where the bottom of the phone would go. There's a little window here for Touch ID, so you can push your finger through that. But this is completely open, and you can see there's a gasket here that goes around the whole thing. Looks kind of like it's a really thick gasket. I thought maybe it was a double layer gasket. Then we have a little panel that goes over where the speaker is and the camera. And then on the side we have a little bit of padding, but for the most part that's it. You can see this is how they cover the bottom holes here for the speaker and microphone. And that's it for the front. Now on the back, this is what seals everything. We have a cover over our lens here, and that's pretty much it. So I didn't see any water on the inside, so that's a good thing. Now that we've tested the case underwater, let's place the iPhone 5S in it. And there's nothing on the front of the phone. It's actually sealed, and it seals right against the glass itself. So there's nothing on the front whatsoever. And let's place the back on, and it snaps on very hard. Gives you that watertight seal. Now that it's snapped around the outside, you can see it's got a really tight seal. Here's the power sleep wake button. It works fine. And then on the side here, you have your volume up and down. You also have these little bumpers that prevent you from hitting them. And then you have the vibrate switch, and it actually works opposite. So up is vibrate, down is off of vibrate. And that's because it's kind of a lever. Some people have asked that in previous videos I've done. Now on the bottom, you can see you have access to the lightning port and your speaker microphone. And then here's the port for your headphones. And that's why Lifeproof provides this adapter. So you put this in place. It's got a little O-ring down here. Put this in place. You screw it down. And then you can get their waterproof headphones and listen to music underwater. Or I've had some people comment and say they use it while they're surfing, so it works pretty well. Let's undo this. And then we'll seal this bottom piece. And you can see you have access to Touch ID, and actually I didn't seal this piece. There we go. Access to Touch ID. And you can see the phone on the back. It looks really nice, but let's test it underwater and see how well it works. We have the iPhone 5S in the case. You can see it will turn on. Actually, I have this thumb set up for it. And it will turn on and work just fine. Let's put it in the water. Touch ID and the screen won't work underwater, but if you wanted to take a picture, you could take it out of the water. And you can see it's a little bit funky with the water on the screen, but it won't damage the screen. If we want to take a picture, we can put it under the water and then click the button and take a picture that way. Otherwise, we can't do it with the screen itself. Capacitive touch doesn't work underwater. I don't think Touch ID works either. It has the same technology, so it probably doesn't work underwater, but it works fine. It seems to be holding up just fine. I don't see any water underneath, but we'll check that in a moment. A couple things to note is it does not float. Lifeproof makes an adapter that actually is for if you're going boating or something. It's a huge foam piece that goes around it, and you can see it's working just fine underwater. You can see it should protect your phone pretty well underwater. No problems there, but let's see if it's held up really well and see if there's any water underneath. I just took the Lifeproof case out of the water, and you can see there's still water on the screen. Let's dry this off. Get all the water off of it and check for leaks, things like that. Now, most people probably won't use it underwater, but it should hold up pretty well if you do. I'll turn it on. And you can see Touch ID worked immediately, and there's still a little bit of water in here, but I'm not really worried about it as they've held up really well over time. Let's take this out of the case. We'll open the ports here and take it out of the case. Now, this is the first case that Apple sold from Lifeproof. They actually sell this in the stores, or you can get it from their website. And Lifeproof is now owned by OtterBox. I know some of you have said you like their cases better. So you can see there's a little bit of splatter, and that's just from me pulling the case off. So let me clean that off and take a look at the phone itself. So obviously there was some on the screen, just around that edge, but nothing inside the case. You can see there's no water inside here at all, and it held up really well. For those of you that don't want to leave your screen exposed while in the case, like I mentioned before, they give you this optional scratch protector that goes over it and fits just in the cutout here, so it doesn't cover the whole front of the phone. I wouldn't really recommend using a screen protector in here as far as it sealing against it. It's really made specifically to use the phone without anything on it, no skins or anything like that. So you put this in the case and then put things on after, like this screen protector. Other than that, I think it's a great case, and I definitely would be sure to check one out if you're at an Apple store, or I'll give a link to them in the description below. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.